Oh, folks! Woo! Yeah, and this start off on the right track. Ooh, Bills. Sure wakes a guy up in the morning. Okay, this is the ongoing saga. Why did the starter work? Yes, I'll attempt to explain what I understand. What was the problem? Or what was the fix? Or what was the fix to the problem? I'm not sure, but we're just gonna go off the deep end with this, and like Steve Robb says, hope it doesn't go sideways on me. It probably will, I'll tell you that. Okay, I was gonna prepare, but I didn't. We're gonna, a little piece of paper there, and do little drawings. I'm not too good on the drawings either. Right? So I'm gonna take this cornflake box, and I'm gonna attempt to, while I think of it, all you recyclers out there. And yesterday, right, we didn't have much money where I come from, eh? So we used to use these cereal boxes. We used to, hope you got time, eh? I know I said this before. It's an ongoing thing, eh? Story time with Gator. In yesteryear, gasketing material, eh? There's no such thing as that, eh? Closest thing you had to gasketing material was a box of cereal. We used to make all kinds, even rear ends, there for rear ends, eh? We'd take the little, hang on, I was going to say, see a little ball peen hammer, eh? And when you'd get to like a hole where there was a stud, eh? And you'd just hammer, and the ball end would go in the hole, and you'd go around, and you'd hold it, eh? And you'd kind of try it as you're going to make sure because it kind of slips on you sometimes, eh? I seen sometimes too have to start over again. But you'd do the outside circumference, and then you'd do the inside, then you'd do all the holes. Then you had a gasket for a rear end, or it was good. It was good for where you didn't have too much heat, where you really had a lot of heat, like exhaust flanges, or even the motor. We used to do even a thermostat that was hot. That was on the motor. We used to use cardboard to do those. But I remember we had some. Remember the good old asbestos? I even had some clot asbestos. I don't know where I got this. I think I bought it someplace. Eh? Now, oh my God, they'd hang you. They'd hang you high if they caught you with a clot asbestos, eh? And just going back a few years, like maybe 100 years or so. Well, no, not that long, maybe 50 or 40 years ago. People really knew how to, knew how to recycle, eh? I should finish my sentence. I look at my videos, eh, and I see that sometimes I don't even finish half my sentences, eh, and I go on to something else. That's a little bit of a problem I have, eh? And you have too, because you're listening to me and you're trying to make out what I'm saying. But anyways, like tin cans, eh? Like you had soup cans, and you had tomato juice cans. And then this was thrown into trying to recycle it, eh? It went into the garage or the shed, and you used to put nails and old bolts. Like even when they took apart something, eh? Like I'm just rambling because it just comes to mind. When you took something apart, you'd keep every bolt, every nut. I remember having bolts with a straight screwdriver, like a screw with a straight slot screwdriver. And nowadays, you leave them in the garbage, eh? But I guess in those days, people used to live far from different resources other than the people that lived in the big city. And these things would cost a lot of money, eh? And people, seems like nowadays we have more money, but we don't know it. We don't know it. But in those days, you used to pick up, like if you took something apart in every bolt and nut, and you'd just put it in you'd have a can, like a peanut butter can or a jam. Used to have, here they had some jam, it was called Habitant. That's French. I guess they came from Quebec, Habitant jam. They were a nice size. Well, something like, hang on, I'll show you. He's just an example of, I still practice with, but I'm telling you, there's a can. That was about the size of the can from the jam. Good old coffee cans. I don't know if, I don't remember, I don't know if people in those days were rich enough to drink coffee, eh? They had tea, I know that, because they used to grow their own tea, eh? Well, tobacco. I don't know if they made tea with tobacco leaves. But anyways, nothing to do with the video today. Today we're gonna try to explain, drum roll, we're gonna try to explain Teryl's Fixes All saga. We'll call it a saga because I didn't read, I read the explanations on I don't know, I'm no big judge. I'm not an engineer to analyze this, but I know a little bit. The old army, well, we'll go back a little bit, if you don't mind. The army, it was, I think they had the old Jeeps, eh? They had a Continental engine in them, and they had a few different starters that the army used, eh? Well, the army or Jeep in those days used on those engines. They had a few size flywheels, but the big difference was in the Bendix. Eh? The Bendix was fired just by the momentum as the starter motor started to go. Hang on, I was gonna. Now I'm gonna finish this, then I'm gonna get to what I'm gonna do. Which cut a little thing so I can draw. Eh? Yeah, the starter used to, as soon as it kick in, it'd have a reverse tread on the Bendix, so that the Bendix would come out, and then as soon as the motor start, it'd kick the Bendix back, eh? Well, you never had too much problems with that, other than the brushes on the starter motor would go or stick, and or sometimes another problem if you went in mud and water and you had a lot of grit went in your starter mechanism, those treads that the Bendix would go in and out would get kind of cruddy, and then your Bendix would start to stick, eh? I've seen that a few times in my day. World War II. Remember those days, folks? Anyway, and that's what was one type, and the other types, yeah, they didn't have those Jeeps didn't have an electric solenoid mounted on the on the starter, or mounted anywhere around. It was on the floor right next in the driver's compartment, like there was the clutch and the brake, and right on the floor to the left of that there was a mechanical electric starter solenoid. You just press with your foot on that, and away you go. Something like where, I don't know if you guys are pretty young, eh? Where the high beam, low beam used to be on the on the cars, like the 50s and something like that. But anyways, okay. Now, I haven't done what I was supposed to do. I wanted to cut a piece of this cardboard in order for me to draw some drawings. And I must warn you, lucky Mike, I didn't prepare much for this, as all my videos. But I know you guys don't really care about the preparation. All you care about is the delivery, And today, there was some people that gave some. See, I don't pretend to be somebody I'm not. See this battery, folks? For some reason, I know I'm going off in the in the left field here. I'm going sideways a little bit. This battery cost me over $100. It didn't last. Well, it lasted a year, but I used it maybe 10 times, and it's so electronic. I was going to say a bad word here. There's so much electronic. That's the downfall, I think, of Milwaukee, There's so much electronics built into their system. There's a little circuitry in here, or in the charger. I don't know. I'm gonna open this, believe me, because this cost me over $100. I'm not throwing it in the garbage without opening it. I'm gonna make a heart transplant. Nah, I'm gonna find out. A little bit of testing. May put it online, show you what I found. But anyway, that doesn't have nothing to do with today's. Okay, we're going off to the. I could have done some drawings prior to this, Okay, first off, the starter. I'm gonna draw that. It's gonna be small, because I don't got much room. Okay. I'm gonna draw it here. See? Your starters like that. And you got 2 wires. Well, we'll just do this one. Can you see? That's the ground, okay? Can you see? Hey, this is the wire that we're talking about, okay? Now, on this starter, your starter's mechanically, we're going to draw it mechanically, okay? Your starter motor, that's the armature, okay? Inside the starter. That's the laminations. This is the windings. Okay. It's got a long shaft at this end. And here we have these squirrely. I told you I wasn't good on drawing, But here we have a place where forks. There's a plunger here. Oh boy. Contacts here. Okay. Hey, oops, this is a winding. Whoa. Okay, this is ground. Okay. Now. Okay, what you have on a starter, what you have on a starter is you got your starter motor here. You got your Bendix. I'm gonna make this a little bit longer so you understand. You got, and this is your flywheel here. Wow. See, this is all your teeth. Can you see the teeth? There. So your starter motor, just by itself, is not engaged into the flywheel. Unless you have a little fork here, then this is what pulls the Bendix into the flywheel. Only when it's engaged. But Okay. See, when, okay. My God, I don't know. Should have drawn it bigger, eh? See, when you energize the solenoid here, it draws the plunger, it makes the contact. See, this is power, positive. And this is negative. Negative. Alright? So when you energize the solenoid, simultaneously or at different times. But we're dealing with milliseconds or even smaller than that, okay? Your contacts close, and this plunger, see the shaft is drawn through? This plunger here, which is on a pivot right here, is drawn, and it pulls the bendix into the flywheel. So therefore, your starter kicks in, and your bendix is pulled in to the flywheel. Hey, I could try and tell you stories about magnetism, okay? Because this is one thing. See, I left that out of the conversation the other day. We talked about a mechanical problem, electrical problem, but it could be magnetism too. I think Steve Robb touched on it a little bit. We could talk about magnetism here, eh? And EMF and CMF and eddy currents, because there's laminations in here. You can talk about eddy currents, but that's all too much involved, eh? We're going to talk about the reason why I think this fails. And it's even beyond me, because why, when I join the motor pole right here, when I join that to this, which is a solenoid, and I energize that from another source, it will engage. See, this was the problem. The motor turns, but it never engages into the flywheel. Okay? But my stipulation, but it would be very hard. You'd almost have to cut it in two and see it mount it and see it work. This happens. It's instantaneously. So it's too fast to analyze. This would be very hard. See, my contention, and I'll come back. It's still a contention because we can't prove this. And okay, what my contention is this action here with the fork and this what do you call that? The bendix and the plunger. This contact here is made. It's too close to the contact position. Oh, there was some people that said, well, your points on your solenoid are dirty or something, that you'd have to be cleaned. And no, can't be, because we bought a brand new solenoid, eh? Brand new points and everything. Didn't change nothing. It didn't change nothing. So that's not the cause. But if the design of the fork, see, the fork has I'm going to say a center point here where it's mounted, and just the action of the solenoid goes like, see, oops, it goes like this, and it engages the bendix into the flywheel. So the starter, the points here that make the motor turn is made prior to pulling the bendix. So once the starter starts turning to a certain RPM, that bendix can engage, because there's 0 turn on the flywheel, and there's I don't know what I'm gonna say, 1,000 turns on the on the bendix. So it's not gonna go in, or it's gonna strip itself. But anyways, okay, now Okay? So this doesn't work. They've built either a solenoid or the point of attachment. See, when you buy a solenoid, the point of attachment doesn't change because that's built into the starter. Well, that point of attachment would have to be maybe further or closer, one or the other. Anyways, from the pivot point to the bendix, so that would change the action of the bendix. At a different time, your bendix would engage. See, the plunger action would engage the bendix, then it would start the motor. See, they have to have, these points would have to close after the bendix has it energized, has been giving the signal to pull ahead. But I don't think that's what's happening. I think you're getting a close on these contacts prior to this pivot motion on the pivot. Okay, I hope you're following me. Not much, but now we have the other dilemma. See, we got the, oh, that's a positive. Okay, so now positive. Okay, this is the positive, and this is a negative. So this is tied to the wrong post. Okay, so I tied that to the negative post on the solenoid here. How come if that's ground? I got one. Oh, okay, positive here. Okay, yeah. So positive and positive. Okay, so I'm getting lost in my thinking here. Okay, so now we're gonna bring Daryl's fix-all solution. Is that we have a slave relay, we call it. Here's our battery. Can you see it? No, you can't. Here's our battery. The negative. That goes to ground. Oops. Not a big. That don't draw too good, eh? And this is positive, okay? So now we got a wire going from positive, and then like that. And these are the two contacts in our slave relay that's fired by, hang on. Ain't I terrible, especially when I'm holding like that. That's why I'm not, hang on, this, the right way to draw this is like this. Believe it or not, when I used to be foreman, and I'd have jobs like fair size and that complicated, eh? And I used to do the drawings. Sometimes the job wasn't drawn prior to me doing the job. It isn't paper mills, eh? So what I'd do is I'd make the drawing, I'd submit it, because I knew what they wanted, eh? So I just made it happen. I'd make drawings, and I'd submit it to the engineers, eh? So they drew the official drawings. Sometimes I have a little corrections, but not too often, I'll tell you that. But they were used to my drawings, eh? I'm sure you guys aren't. But anyways, okay, so we're gonna fire, this is the ignition switch. That's the key right here. See, and our power comes from positive. So okay, see, your positive goes to this contact and this contact. These aren't made. There's the action. So you have the key, and when you close these, there's a way to draw that, but I'm not going to draw it here. When you close these two contacts, then you're firing the solenoid and you're firing the motor at the same time. Why does this work? Well, I think I'm baffled by this. I think there's less, like, who is it? Grand P. He touched on it, voltage drop. But I just haven't, see this here, you're pulling the plunger and you're driving the starter motor at the same time. See, if they don't have this at the right place, if you wouldn't have no action from the motor till you've, and here we're dealing with fractions of distances, like maybe, I don't know, a 16th, maybe less. To make the plunger action closes the solenoid, and on the way towards the flywheel, the starter engages, so that you have the forward motion prior to the turning motion. And and this is one thing I checked. I said, maybe they got the gear on the Bendix the other way. It can't be, but if they would, you see, the end of the gear is kind of filed a little bit, like the edge of it, so it engages easier, right? They didn't. It was, it could have been better. I seen like automotive starters with a lot more, not filing, but built-in angle on the end of the gear. These were kind of squarish. See, but there's all sorts of stuff that falls into, and then you say to yourself, why did it work? Well, my thinking here is that this action here, or the pivot point, is not at the right place. But by firing them both together, like what you have here, see, this maybe closes prior to this being pulled into the flywheel, so then your starter motor starts to spin too fast. But by doing it this way, your plunger and your starter motor are both synchronized together, and not the solenoid being pulled before or after. I think that's where the key, see, by both being fired exactly at the same time, just that difference makes it work, or makes it doesn't work. So the slave relay, which is right here, will work on this. But that's my, okay, that's my humble opinion. But it's not worth nothing, eh? I'm still kind of baffled by it. Unless we go into magnetism, okay? And the effect of magnetism on, like, there's two different sources of magnetism involved here, eh? And then there's shielding, like metal will shield magnetism, but being as the starter's built in a certain way, magnetism will escape, and sometimes lines of magnetism will intersect, and like there's two different poles of magnetism, there's a south and a north pole, and it could be detrimental to the work that you want to accomplish. But to analyze this, hey, I don't have a laboratory here, eh? You can send that to, ooh, hang on, I just gotta sit down another way. My cheeks are starting to, my benches here are kind of, the foam is cheap, eh? Being what Gator is, eh? Ah, here! Ha! You needed this before you went. Some of you new guys in there, you said, how come this guy lives up north and he calls himself Gator? The oldies in here, well, you know why, eh? I gotta tell you, young guy, I mean, your younger subscribers, I gotta tell you why. See, hang on, I don't know if I'll be able to do it here. See, gator, an alligator, eh? Short front legs, eh? So, when it comes to pay, eh? You're at the restaurant, everybody's together and they're waiting for who's gonna pick up the bill. Yeah, I can pick up the bill, but it's hard reaching the wallet, eh? That's why they call me Gator. I guess a lot of you knew that story, eh? But I gotta say it, because I get new subscribers, eh? And I'm thankful to the new subscribers. I recognize you guys in there. And I'm happy for the old guys in there and the new ones, eh? And I'm happy for the comments that I get. And I try to give honest answers. But anyways, it's sometimes it's time taking, eh? And it takes away from my busy schedule. It's a good thing I'm retired, eh? I have fun doing these videos too, eh? So anyways, I salute you all. Give me a thumbs up if you feel like it, if you think I did a good job. And if you didn't think I did a good job, if I was at the least bit a little entertaining, well, you give me a thumbs up too, eh? And well, it's like I usually say, don't forget, eh? You gotta recycle, eh? But there's recycling and throwing it in the green bin, putting it at the street. There's a recycling as in you use the products that can be recycled for good. See, these. I'm not gonna keep this going. I'm cutting out soon there. But I'm just gonna show you something. Where is it? I don't have. Yeah, I got another one right here. This one's got stuff in it. The ones I like. Hang on. I got some. Yeah, here. Can you see back here? See these, folks? This is peanut butter. And these are perfect, eh? Because you can see what's in here. There's the bigger cans, and I used to have a guy. Hey, do we still have time in here? Used to have a guy, eh? He'd at his break and at dinner, he'd always eat one slice of bread, and he'd put about a pound that thick of peanut butter. He's one of the guys working for me, right? And I told him, I said, because every week he had a jar of peanut butter. That's probably what come from him. He had a jar of peanut butter, eh? And he'd give it to me, but just scraped, eh? It wasn't washed. I'd bring it home, I'd get it washed in the dishwasher, and I'd take him out to the garage, eh? How thrifty I am. I always told him, I said, his name was Guy. I always told him, I said, Guy, 1 week that you don't give me your peanut butter jar, you're fired. I worked 12 years for me. So I guess well, it took me maybe 6 months before I kind of found out, well, I figured out that I can get peanut butter jars off of him. Eh? So well, I was just joking. I wouldn't have fired him because he was a good worker, eh? A worker that you can depend on, eh? That's very, yeah, here I am bucking around. Not the other word, pucking, P. Around with my hat. This I can see my eyes in the viewfinder here, eh? I can see my eyes, eh? But then I see the line of the hat. It's always like that. But anyways, what was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. But that's the story about the peanut butter jars. Okay, folks, that's it. That's enough rambling for this morning or this afternoon or this evening, whenever you're looking at this. And don't forget, folks, we'll see you in the next one.